I'm going to share with you how I separate the texture from the color in order to get beautiful smooth skin. We'll be using the clone stamp in order to remove blemishes and the mixer brush in order to blend transitions. Now down below you're also going to find a free frequency separation action. Download it. It's going to make your workflow so much quicker. If you actually want to know how to do it yourself, then also in the description below you'll see a link to a video where I show you how to set this up. Otherwise, just go ahead and download it. Now this is the picture we're going to be editing today. The rule that I follow is if it's going to be gone in 2 weeks, I go ahead and remove it because I want to help her look her best while keeping it authentic. However, for today, I'm going to show you what a big difference we can make here. So here is the before and the after. Now, after you download the action, we're going to come here to this play button here that's called actions. And so you're going to see the frequency separation. If you do not see it, we are going to come over to Windows. And here you want to make sure that actions is checked off. If it's not, check it off. Now you're going to have the option. And it is very easy to do. All we're going to be doing is coming here. We're going to click the play button. And it's going to automatically start doing everything. So in order to choose the number, it's going to be different for your photo. But basically, we want to make sure there's no texture. Now, this looks pretty good. I'm going to go down to 5 just so we can take a look. I can see a little bit of texture here. I'm going to go back to 7. That looks pretty good to me. So once you decide what looks best, click OK. It's going to do its thing. And here you go. So now, very quickly, I'm going to show you the parts to this. So we have our assist layer, the texture, and the color and tone. Now, first thing I like to do is smooth out the skin by going to the texture. So you're going to click here, and I like to use the clone stamp. So just one thing I do want to bring to your attention when we're using the clone stamp, here where it says sample, make sure you're on current layer and not all layers, because then you're not going to get the desired effect. So current layer. So it's best to choose skin close to the area we'll be editing. So you click on Alt on the keyboard and then you click on your mouse. And so now you have your sample. So for example, just give it a couple clicks, and well, depending. So I like to keep mine at half just in case I don't want to get rid of it. I just want to smooth it out a little bit. But I'm going to show you here. For example, now that I'm going to the chin, I'm going to choose a sample near it. Now normally I would leave this little area alone, but like I said, today we are doing dramatic changes. Now we're going to come over here. We're not done yet though. So here we go. I'm going to show you a quick little before and after. So I'm going to turn off I'm going to turn off all the frequency separation. Here we go. And after. Oh, and just real quick. So you're going to see that we do have an assist layer. Now basically what it does, it turns it black and white. This is really good it's for when you're doing the color smoothing out. It does help a little bit with the texture too. But it just kind of helps you from color fatigue, because once you're staring this at so long, your eyes start to get tired. So I like to keep it on, and then as I work, it just helps me focus on the parts that I need to, so I'm not getting distracted. Now I'm gonna make this bigger. Another good thing that we're going to be doing here is I'm going to show you how we can get rid of some of those flyaway hairs using this technique, because it's not just for removing blemishes. Now, although I love it for this, and it's certainly my go-to whenever I'm editing any kind of photo, well, portrait photo, that is, I also use it for the flyaway hairs. Now, we still have a little bit on this cheek, so make that smaller, get something near there. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna take care of the forehead real quick. Like I said, I like to take care of all the texture first, because sometimes just by doing that, it smooths it out enough to where I don't feel I actually have to go ahead and blend with the transitions. But I certainly am trying to do as much as possible so we can have a more dramatic change. But okay, so let's go ahead and turn off the assist layer so we can really see what's going on so far. So here's what we've done. Here's what it was before. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now, if you want to get obsessive, maybe you can do a little bit more there. But I'm actually very happy with this. Now, there is one thing that's bugging me. And that is this flyaway hair on her cheek. So it looks like it's probably not going to need a texture for us to go over it, but we're going to do it just in case. So again, just sample, go over it, but look at that, it's already going away. So you know what, it is a texture thing. I was thinking that I would have to go in there and blend it in, but not necessary. It's taking care of all of that. Alright, so that is a happy surprise. And we can decide, you know what, I'm going to take care of that too. We want to make these shadows less, so okay. Now we sample. Look at that, what a difference. Okay, okay. I'm just kind of looking around, but I don't really see anything I need to change. I mean, there's like a little itty bitty bit here, but I mean, normally I would leave that alone. It's not worth the time. So, okay. So as you can see, just that alone makes such a big difference. I mean, look at that. She looks her best. Her skin looks flawless. But now, let's smooth out some of the transitions between the lights and darks. So I'm going to turn on that assist layer because this is where it really helps. So make sure you're on the right layer and come over here to the brush and choose your mixer brush. There we go, mixer brush. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little quick tip though. Go ahead and bring this. If you're not sure of yourself, make a copy of it. Okay, so here we go. And I'll explain why we did that in a little bit. But, okay, so we have quite a bit of a highlight here. Let's just kind of smooth that out. So all you have to do is just hold the area that you want to, basically like spread out. But you're just going to move it around a little bit. Okay. Now maybe we have a little bit of a shadow here. Let's kind of smooth that out a little bit there. There you go. Now it is important not to get obsessive over these kind of things because you can really go crazy. So if you overdo this, you can really flatten out this image. Now remember, we don't want to do that. We want to keep it realistic. I mean, it's your style, so that's really your choice. But I mean, instead of having it's gonna look more like a 2D picture if you do that. So in this case, I chose this picture because I like the lighting on it. So I actually don't have to do much as far as transition. Okay, but I'm going to give you an example about why we did this. So I'm pretty happy with that. But let's say, make this bigger. Let's say we, okay, we got a little too crazy, right? So, okay, so we really, let's say we overdid it. Okay. Now that does not look good. I think you can agree with me there. What we can do is, we're already on the layer. We can reduce the opacity so that, you know what, we do want it to be smoother, but that's too much. Okay. Well, maybe that's all right. Let's go a little bit less. Something like that. So compared, this was before and then after. Now I really overdid it there, so I'm gonna, there we go. Okay, just so it's not, okay, here's a big example. So let's say 40%. Hey, you know what? That looks better than before. Let's say I'm happy with that. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and do it because I really don't want to do it that badly. I do want that highlight. I do want some contrast. But that's why you make a second layer there. Now let's go ahead and get rid of some of these flyaway hairs. So up here, we want to blend it into the brick. So oops, so there I go. I am totally messing this up. What we need to do is make sure, first of all, you're in the right layer, texture, and then the right tool, which is a clone stamp. So alright, go ahead, Alt click, and you know what, that's too big. Okay, so I think that's enough to show you. So the texture took care of most of this. Let me put the color back on so you can really see. So texture took care of most of this, but there is still some off colors where you can still tell, yeah, there was some hair and now it just looks weird. So we're going to come back here and we're going to smooth it out. Basically, we're just going to hide the evidence here. Now it's not going completely away, which tells me there's still some texture to remove. So clone stamp, make that smaller. And that should, there we go. That should take care of that. So we don't want to make it look too perfect because that's just going to be unrealistic and it can take a very, very, very long time to go through all the hair. So what I suggest is be picky about it. Go ahead and zoom out a bit. So we're like at 150, right? So you know what, I could go in there and I could smooth that perfectly. That's not worth the time. And you know, it starts to become too perfect at some point to where it becomes fake. So you definitely want to watch out for overdoing things. But there's just a couple more that I want to do here. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's zoom out to really tell. So to 25%. Yeah, see, when you're close in there like that, you can really get obsessed over the details when you don't have to, because people aren't going to see it. Let's come in at 50. So you still can't tell. When you zoom in, yeah, you can tell there's some right there, there's some right there, but this looks pretty good. Make sure to subscribe if you want to learn more. Make sure to subscribe if you want to learn how to improve your photography. And go ahead and check out the video right here in the card so that you can learn more about editing.